my name is Chan Elaine. Now I will present about the introduction. For electronic wallet, sometimes called e-wallet or sometimes called digital wallet. For example, Touch and Go, Shopee Pay, Grab Pay, WeChat Pay, Zoom Pay, and others. An e-wallet also refers to a payment system technology that converts the physical wallet characteristic into a digital environment, and it also refers to cashless payment. And it does bring a lot of convenience to people. You just only can scan the phone easily without touching any money, so it saves a lot of time. Besides that, the objective of our report is to determine the level of user perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, medium influence, social influence, and attitude toward e-wallet usage. The second, to analyze the relationship between e-wallet usage with internal and external factors. The last one, to determine the effect of attitude on e-wallet usage among UTHM students.
Hi, my name is Joanne and I will talking about the literature review. E-wallet usage. Convenience, cost saving, and security are some of the features of the e-wallet that make it useful. Perceived usefulness, security, ease of use, and cheap transaction costs are few of the characteristics that influence perceived utility. Perceived ease of use. The e-wallet is considered to be straightforward, easy to use, and easy to understand. Media influence. The media may disseminate information and foster positive perceptions of the e-wallet. Social influence. The power to raise user awareness of the e-wallet and persuade them to use it, such as family members, friends, and other members. Attitude on the e-wallet refers to their level of vulnerability. Is the mental condition that affect how the e-wallet is used. Technology Accepted Model (TAM) has shown validity for gauging the accessibility of innovations, according to empirical research. Conceptual framework. Internal and external factors are included as independent variables in the study, whereas attitude are the mediating variable for e-wallet usage. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Shamizi Mesakri, and here I want to represent about the methodology of our research. This is the first one. We use the method of the quantitative research method. It is we use using the questionnaire in a Google form. We blast to the UTHM student and we take the random of the population for the answering our question. And then for the second one, we use the qualitative research method. It is using the survey during online interview session. We choose only the seven students among UTHM students, and then we use for the open-ended question, we asking about the element of the IV, independent variable of our research, and then for the dependent variable of our research, which is includes for our IV is have 5 elements, which is level of e-wallet usage, level of perceived usefulness, level of perceived ease of use, level of media influence, and the level of social influence. And then the dependent variable of our research is a level of attitude. And for the next one is the population and sampling techniques. The target population here are among UTHM students, which has experience in using apps e-wallet payment. And then the sampling techniques that used in this study is the simple random sampling, which is the respondents are selected by a random population. And also we choose which is different demographic factor in different age brackets, genders, races, and education. This is to assume that the sample will be a good representation of the theoretical population of this study. Okay, so for the construct management, we have for the questionnaire section. For this, we have 3 sessions. The first one is section 1, demographic session. Section 2 is the level of e-wallet usage, and the section 3. We have 3 sessions also in this session, which is have the internal factor, which have the perceived of usefulness and perceived of ease of use. And then for the B, section 3B, we have the external factor and the level of influence, and for the section 3C, we have the level of attitude. And for interview section, we have chosen for the open-ended question. And for our Google form, we have used in this research, we have used the 5-point Likert scale. It's been adapted, which is to measure the agreement between the independent variable and the dependent variable. However, for the interview session, in open-ended question, we asking for the opinion and the experience of the respondent who have used the e-wallet payment to make a purchase. Okay, for this session is actually using open-ended online interview session among 7 UTHM students, and which is for our data analysis, we use the statistical package for social science. The data that will be analyzed using descriptive analysis, scale measurement, and inferential analysis. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Eugene. Now I'm going to present about result and data analysis quantitative analysis. First is descriptive analysis for demographic profile of the respondent. There are 70 respondents involved in this research. Therefore, 70 questionnaires were distributed by using Google Form, and 70 of them have been completed and corrected for this research. The response rate of this questionnaire is 100%. The data are analyzed by using SPSS. As we can see in the table, their majority respondents are females, which is 51.4%. Majority are Chinese, which is 47.1%. For age section, their majority respondents are between 21 until 25 years old, which is 70%. Next, majority respondents come from faculty FPTP, which is 45.7%. Besides, their majority 44 respondents are third-year students. There are only 1 respondent is married, and 69 respondents are single for marital status. Last but not least, there are 60 respondents are from bachelor degree students. Second data analysis is central tendencies and standard deviation. As we can see from the table, there are out of 5 independent variables, the level of e-wallet usage have reported the highest mean, which is 4.2829, and the standard deviation is 0.56823. And for overall mean for dependence variable, the mean overall of level of attitude is 4.2806, standard deviation is 0.49552. Third is normality test. As we can see in the table, the Kolmogorov stimulus test was used in this normality test because the respondents is more than 15. Based on the table, the result shows that p-values is 0, which means lower than 0.05. Thus, the data is not normal distributed. Since the data is not normal, non-parametric tests will be used. Fourth is reliability test. The total of measures item is 34 items. As we can see, the reliability converge alpha for level of attitude is very good, which is 0.83. Level of e-wallet usage is good, 0.779. Level of perceived usefulness is good, 0.726. Level of perceived ease of use is good, 0.745. Level of media influence is very good, 0.822. And level of social influence is good, 0.756. All items adopted in the questionnaires for this study are reliable, as all independent variable and dependence variable have at least a minimum value of 0.5 for each converge alpha. Among these variables, level of attitude has the highest converge alpha with the value of 0.83, whereas level of perceived usefulness has the lower converge alpha with the value of 0.726. Moreover, the overall reliability test result was above 0.5, which indicated the good reliability and validity skills. Next is the result and data analysis structural qualitative analysis for the open-ended question and interview question. For the open-ended question, there are 3 open-ended questions including this survey. First is suggestion on how to focus on the working adults in e-wallet usage. Second question is, in your opinion, is e-wallet usage higher than cash on hand among university students, and why? And third question is, what platform provides the most information of e-wallets? Next is an interview question. The researcher have selected 7 respondents for this interview section. There are 8 questions including in this session. First question is, do you usually pay by e-wallets or cash? And second question is, how often do you actually use your e-wallet apps and why? Third is, which e-wallet app do you usually use and why? And next is, after using e-wallet, are you used to not carrying cash? And do you worry about your account being hacked when you use e-wallet? Do e-wallets give you a lot of benefit? Can you give me some example? Do you think e-wallets will affect your life? And last question is, nowadays e-wallets are part of humanity. Do you think it would be a good thing if people stop using cash? Next is the result and data analysis for hypothesis testing. First is Spearman correlation analysis. The Spearman correlation coefficient between level of attitude and level of e-wallet usage is 0.406, which is statistically significant. Second, Spearman correlation coefficient between level of attitude and level of perceived usefulness is 0.644, which is statistically significant. Third, Spearman correlation coefficient between level of attitude and level of perceived ease of use is 0.661, which is statistically significant. Fourth, Spearman correlation coefficient between level of attitude and level of media influence is 0.615, which is statistically significant also. Fifth, Spearman correlation coefficient between level of attitude and level of social influence is 0.662, which is statistically significant. Last is the result of major finding. As we can see, there was a moderate positive correlation between level of attitude and level of e-wallet usage, which was statistically significant. Second, there was a strong positive correlation between level of attitude and level of perceived usefulness, which was statistically significant. Third, there was a strong positive correlation between level of attitude and level of perceived ease of use, which was statistically significant also. Fourth, there was a strong positive correlation between level of attitude and level of media influence, which was statistically significant also. Fifth, there was a strong positive correlation between level of attitude and level of social influence, which was statistically significant. That's all for me. Now I will pass to my friend to continue the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Rosalika Bedusin, CP 2027. For our part discussion, we will discuss on 3 objectives that we provide. For the first objective, which is to determine the level of usage, perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, media influence, social influence, and attitude towards e-wallet usage. So in this survey, the average level of e-wallet usage is 4.2829. Users of e-wallet have stated that they always use Touch and Go as the app is easy to use. The study is present in its form of report and video presentation. Okay, for discussion on objective 2, in the modern digital age, e-wallet have become an increasingly popular payment method. A recent study by R.K. Sari SP Utama and A. Zairina sought to explore the impact of internal and external factors on the usage of e-wallet in the Asia Pacific regions by R.K. Sari SP Utama and A. Zairina 2021. The study found that users are more likely to utilize e-wallet when they have a positive attitude towards the service, trust the service provider, and perceive it as convenient and safe. And last but not least, our discussion on objective 3 is to determine the effect of attitude on e-wallet usage among UTHM students. So, our question include whether students are aware of e-wallet service, how often they use them, and what their opinion on the convenience of e-wallet service, and what their opinion is on the security of e-wallet service. And in addition to the survey, we conduct the survey to gain a deeper understanding of their attitude towards e-wallet usage. Okay, so our implication of study is that perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, perceived enjoyment, trust, and perceived privacy were the most important factors influencing student attitude towards e-wallet adoption. So the next implication, students who had a positive attitude towards e-wallet adoption had higher intention to use it, compared to those with a negative attitude. And last but not least, essential to create awareness among students about the advantage of e-wallet and to ensure that the security and privacy of users is safeguarded.
Hi, my name is Nivedita Parameswaran and my card metric number is CP2054. Today I'll be discussing on limitation and recommendation of our case study. As you can know, there were few limitations that has been found out during our case study. One of the limitation is that this case study entirely focused on UTHM Parit Raja campus students, which might not entirely reflect the finding for students who has been using e-wallet around Malaysia. This application usage is not restricted to UTHM students only. And another limitation is that this case study focuses more towards undergraduate students. As for the recommendation, future research can be done to enhance e-wallet service and consumer attitude towards e-wallet. Furthermore, future research can be done to take variety of factors into an account in order to fully understand how the service is received and create ongoing intention. For instance, they might evaluate the platform's business affiliation, the service recovery method, as well as appeal the application designs. The future researcher will investigate more extensive research such as expanding the number of samples more than 200 students throughout Malaysia and develop research by looking at variables not looked at this study so that with the result this industry may continue to grow. Thank you. That's all from me.
Now I'll present the conclusion. The result shows that 5 of the 5 hypotheses tested are accepted. This shows there's a positive effect on the level of attitude and the level of e-wallet usage. Likewise, there's a positive correlation between level of attitude and on the level of perceived usefulness. Some features that affect the student's attitude towards e-wallet usage include security, usability, and lower transaction costs. The level of attitude also has a positive effect on the level of perceived ease of use. E-wallet being clear, user-friendly, and simple to comprehend makes students want to use it. There is also a positive correlation between the level of attitude, level of media, and level of social media influence. The traditional and digital media has a positive effect on the student's attitude toward e-wallet usage. The members of social network also influence the level of attitude on using e-wallet.